So this is Mark Hummel, and this is Mark Hummel's Harmonica Party, and I'm sitting here with my friend Willie Chambers from the Chambers Brothers. We haven't seen each other in, I want to say it's been about a year, I think.
Yeah, maybe just a little more than a year.
Maybe a little more, yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm in Los Angeles at Willie's home, and we're in Leimert Park. Is that how you say it? Leimert Park, right.
Park.
And we're just going to talk about Willie's career, how he got to California from Mississippi, and playing in the Chambers Brothers, and all the different people that you've known and places you've played, and been all around the world. So I wanted to start with just, you came, I know you told me the name of the town. It was some tiny little spot in Mississippi, right?
About 100 people, maybe 200 people. Carthage, Mississippi. Well,
Carthage
had maybe 500 people.
Carthage,
yeah.
Okay. Is that where you're from?
Carthage, Mississippi.
Okay. And you moved out here, did you say the 50s?
1954.
54, right. Okay. And what year were you born, by the way?
1938.
Okay, all right. All right. So you are definitely younger than Barbara.
Barbara's older than me?
Barbara's, yeah. She was born 29, I think.
Oh, my
1929,
God.
Yeah.
And she's still kicking.
She's still kicking.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That gives me inspiration.
Yes, she is very inspiring. And so so I wanted to just talk a little bit about you. You grew up in Mississippi, and you said you worked on a farm, right?
Yeah, cotton, corn, peas, beans, sugarcane, watermelons, cucumbers, squash, tomatoes, carrots, onions, you name it.
Uh-huh. And what was, and you have 3 brothers alive? Or 4?
There's 3 brothers still alive.
Three brothers still alive.
Lester,
yes.
and myself.
Right. Okay. And you guys, what are your age differences?
2 years difference.
2 years in each. Okay.
There was 13 kids, and
right. That's what I remember.
Every 2 years, my mom and dad would say, "Hey, we need to talk."
Yeah, I know you came from a really large family, and were all of you working during that time, like on the farm?
Well, some of the older brothers lived in different towns, different places, and they had their own farm.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew, Benjamin, and Rosie was our older sister.
Uh-huh.
They all lived like in Flora, Mississippi, which
Okay.
was about 75, 80 miles away.
Flora?
Yeah.
Okay.
Flora.
I've heard of that.
And but George, Lester, Joe, and myself, we all lived in Carthage.
Uh-huh.
On the farm there.
So where were you in the place of ages?
I'm number 7.
You're number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So that's a huge family.
Smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, that is a huge family. And now, were you guys sharecropping?
We were sharecroppers.
Sharecropping.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you did a lot of picking cotton. Is that right?
A lot of picking cotton, pulling corn, shucking corn, shelling corn.
Right.
Shelling peas.
Right.
When I was 13 years old, my brother George got drafted into the Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, we were just putting our group together. We were working in the fields one day.
Wow.
My brother Lester and Joe and myself and 2 of our cousins, we had a little group. We were a gospel group.
Right.
The Chambers Brothers that was our main thing. That was the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can remember is from the time we were born was gospel music.
Now, how did you pick up on gospel music? Was that from church, or was it in records?
Well, it started at home. The first singing and music I ever heard came from my mom and dad.
Okay.
When I was maybe a year old, I remember there was after working in the fields every day, there was singing after. Well, we call it supper, then we call it dinner now.
Right.
After supper, there was singing, sitting around the fireplace and or whatever, and singing, and it just continued. When we worked in the fields, we sang all day.
Now, would you sing gospel when you're singing in the fields, or would you sing different songs?
We sang gospel, spiritual songs.
Uh-huh.
neighboring farmers would at church on Sunday would request certain songs. Would you guys sing this song tomorrow when in the fields?
Yeah.
It was like a certain time of the evening.
Yeah.
You could say, "Hey," and you hear it go, "Hey, hey, hey, hey."
Right.
Hey.
Right. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
A certain time of the evening.
Yeah, that's what
and
I've heard.
That time of the evening, we were singing all day.
I've heard you could hear like for like miles.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
travel every time you say "hey," and it go "hey, hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey." That's how it's about every mile. It would
Right.
It would say "hey" again
That's amazing.
until it fades
Yeah.
out, and it would travel.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And we were always singing, and it really made the work not seem so hard.
Mhm.
Everybody gets singing. You didn't notice how hard the work or how long the day was.
Right.
It just was beautiful.
So it gave a certain relief
Yes.
when you sang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I was 13 years old, we were working in the fields one day, and George and an older brother, Major, they sang in a senior group.
Uh-huh.
But in the fields, we sang together all the time.
Right.
And we were just singing along, and we decided, hey, why don't we just have a singing group among ourselves?
Yeah.
So we were just deciding that, and we decided we were going to be a group within the family.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we couldn't come up with a name for the group. Everybody submitted a name, but we couldn't get everybody agreeing on
Right.
one particular name at the same time. So we decided, well, we just have to call ourselves the Chambers Brothers.
Right. Well, that's a good name.
They're not bad at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that's how we ended up being the Chambers Brothers. And when I was 13, my dad had gotten sick. He'd gone fishing one Saturday, and he ate some bad food, and he got ptomaine poisoning, and he passed out and collapsed
Wow.
while fishing
Yeah.
in the swamps, and he lay there all day in the sun, and he got totally dehydrated.
God almighty.
He ended up in the hospital. He was in the hospital forever.
Yeah.
But when he did come out of the hospital, he couldn't work anymore. He couldn't do it anymore. And
Wow.
brother George got drafted into the Korean War,
Right.
and the landowner came down to the house one evening and said to my mom, "Vic, I might be having to ask y'all to move out of the house. It seems you ain't got nobody to do the work anymore."
God almighty.
So that's how sharecropping, the landowner gave you a makeshift sometime, depending on what kind of attitude the
Right.
farmer, the landowner had toward
Yeah.
laborers.
You were totally at the mercy
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the houses, you could lay in your bed and
look up at the
see
sky.
the stars.
Yeah.
But the landowner we had at the time, he was decent.
Yeah.
We had a fairly decent house to live in.
Mm-hmm.
But he was saying he would probably have to ask us to leave because we had nobody to do the work. Because my dad and my brother George, they did all the heavy duty work at the
Right.
time.
Like
My
tractors and
Yeah,
that kind of-
always mule and plow.
right. Okay, it was mule and plow. Wow.
So when my
Yeah.
dad was sick and he couldn't work anymore, and then just when we were putting our group together, a week after we decided we were going to be the Chambers Brothers, George got drafted into the Korean
Oh
War.
my God.
So that was
Yeah.
the end of that. So when he went off to the Korean War, and the landowner says, "Old George can't work anymore, and little George is in the war. You got nobody to do the work. I might have to ask y'all to move out of the house." And I'm thinking, I was 13, and I'm thinking, oh my God, that's gonna separate our family, because if we can't stay there,
Right.
no landowner's gonna allow us to live on the land.
Right.
We can't turn that work. It was
Yeah.
35 acres of cotton and
Oh my God.
25 acres of corn at the time.
Yeah.
So he's talking to my mom, and I said, "I can do it." And he just took a quick glance at me and kept saying to my mom, "I might," what he was saying, "get out."
Right.
But he
Right.
said, "I might have to ask you to get out."
Yeah.
So, and I said it again, "I can do it." He said, "Boy, you mighty little." I said, "Yeah, but I can do it." And he looked at me and he says, "All right, boy, I'm going to give you a year, see what you can do."
Wow.
I did it for 3 years, 35 acres of cotton and 25
Unbelievable.
acres of corn, all by myself.
Yeah.
It was one of the hardest things I ever had to encounter.
Right.
I'm still recuperating from that.
I bet, man.
But I did it. I did it for 3 years.
Yeah, that's incredible.
But I told my dad, I says, I don't think I can make it another year. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my feet were.
And it was just you?
Just me. 35
Wow.
acres of cotton and 25 acres of corn.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I did the whole thing: the plant, the cult, the turning the soil,
Yeah.
preparation for planting,
Yeah.
fertilizer.
That is a big job.
Oh God, tell me about it.
I can barely do that for an hour.
I did it from sun up to sundown.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have the upper body strength, so I had to work. I had to hook my elbow into my pelvis
Mm-hmm.
and do it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So right now my body is like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
This side is way up here, and this
Yeah.
side is. Anyway, I did that for 3 years. It kept our family together. That was my only concern. God had to be in the plan because
Right.
there's no way I could have did that
Yeah.
at that age
Yeah.
for 3 years.
And your brothers couldn't
My
do it because
brother
they were
Lester,
too
he
young?
was
or-
2 years younger than me.
Yeah, so they were too young.
And then Joe was 2 years younger than him.
Right.
So,
Wow. Yeah.
And the rest of the brothers was married and living in different places.
Right,
And
so they
had
weren't
their
really
own
in a
farms,
position,
their own
yeah.
families to support, and
Right.
it was me. I
Yeah.
was born right at time, right on the good times to catch it all. But it kept our family intact
Yeah.
because I knew if we couldn't live on this land, nobody's going to allow us to move on the land because
Right.
you got to be able to do that work or else you out of it.
Mhm.
And I knew at that point that would make us have to split up. A couple go live here and a couple go live with relatives and
Right.
stuff like that. And I didn't want that to happen, so
Yeah.
I
So
volunteered.
you basically kept the family together.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Let
sure
me move
did.
this a little bit towards
That
you.
was it
Okay.
was quite strenuous, but I managed to
Yeah.
do it for 3 years.
Yeah.
But I told my dad, I says, Dad, I don't think I can make it another year, and I'm not picking any cotton.
And I know you told me a hell of a story about how you left Mississippi. What put you in a position where you had to leave Mississippi when you got into a confrontation with
Yeah,
the
one,
landowner?
That's when we were a junior group, me and Joe Lester, me and two of our cousins. We every weekend we went someplace to sing, and like
Mhm.
some friends had their dad he drove a school bus. He owned everybody on their own school bus. The men would build the school buses. They would get by the trucks and they would build the bodies.
Wow.
Yeah, and they just had benches inside
Yeah.
the body of the school bus. Anyway, there was
And were you going to school the whole time you were picking
I
cotton?
never got a chance to go to school.
Yeah. Did any of your brothers?
Yeah,
Did
they went to school. But
Yeah.
I was working in the
Basically,
field.
you had no choice.
And
Yeah.
when I told my dad I couldn't do it another year, I didn't think I would make it. He says, "It's all right, son. We're at the end of this crop. We're going to California.
We're gone. Yeah.
But
Right.
the first year that I was doing that, 35 acres of cotton and 25 acres of corn, we had gone every weekend. We went someplace to sing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a church,
Yeah.
affiliated.
Mm-hmm.
We were a gospel group,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody wanted to go someplace.
Right.
So at church, we would announce that we were going, and there would be a bus, and the man who owned the bus, he never charged us more than $20,
Yeah.
19, $20, no
Yeah.
matter how far.
No
we
matter
went.
how-
It
where
was
you
always
went, huh?
19 or $20.
Wow. Okay.
And we would announce it at church, and everybody wants to go somewhere.
Right.
So everybody would want to go, and we charge them like a quarter to 50 cents to ride
Yeah.
the bus.
So
And
that kind of helped.
that paid
with
for
the
our bus
expenses,
and
yeah.
our snacks.
Right,
We had it
right.
going on.
Right, sounds
And
like
this
it.
one particular night, we went further than we had ever gone. I think we got home around 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the
Oh
morning.
my God.
Well, I didn't have time to sleep at all.
Yeah.
I had to go right to the fields. And I was like, gee whiz and cotton. I don't know if you know what that means. That's a cloud. It's on an angle. Like one blade is there, one blade is.
Right.
They're not even. And
Right.
it's hard to do. So
And that's why you were saying the thing about. Is that part of why?
I had to do that all the time.
That was all the
All
time.
the time.
Yeah.
You go down one side and then you go back down the other side. And it's making preparations.
Is that what a turn row is?
Turn row? I don't know what that is.
I've heard something about what a turn row is or something, but I don't know.
Turning plow. I
Maybe,
have a
yeah,
turning
okay.
plow.
I thought I heard something.
This is a gee whiz. Like you're getting the cotton is about so high now,
Right.
And you push the dirt up, covers up everything except the cotton is thick, and then because the cotton is like that, you got to thin it out.
Right.
You put it in groups like ever so many inches apart. And that's the kind of work I was doing that one particular morning, and like it was okay when the sun was just coming up, but
Right.
10 o'clock that morning, oh man, the sun came out and it's so hot, I couldn't work. I had to rest. I had to take a lot of breaks.
Right.
And one time I was taking my break, and the landowner came out. He glared over in that direction for a minute, and then he went back inside. So now I'm working again.
Right.
Now I got to take another break. So
And
when he comes
didn't
out,
see that you were working
no,
again.
when he comes out a second time, I'm taking a break again.
Right. He thinks you're not
And it
doing
looked
anything.
like to him that I just was not working.
Right. Right.
He stared over across the fields at me, and then he reached over and he dragged his rocking chair over on the front porch, and he sat down. His wife came out and brought him the newspaper and a big picture of iced tea or Kool-Aid or something. And now he's picks up his newspaper and he's reading the paper like this.
Looking at you. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
To tell you the truth, that pissed me off.
I bet it did.
It did.
I can
And I said,
understand.
the heck with it. I ain't.
Yeah.
And I just quit.
Right.
Well, that made him really angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he slammed down his newspaper. He went and got in his car. He come driving down the road like a crazy person.
Right.
I had about a 3-acre corn patch off the road. And he parked his car on the road and he came through the corn. He was just knocking the corn all around.
Right.
And I said, well, this is going to be
Bad.
serious.
Yeah.
So I reached down and I disconnected the single tree from the
Right.
plow. That's a hickory piece of wood. It's about like, I disconnected and just left it laying in place. I said, if it comes to it, this will be my defense. I'll use this as to defend
Jeez,
myself.
Yeah.
So he came down through the corn and he got like 10 feet or 20 feet away. I suggested, don't come no closer, you just talk to me from there.
Yeah.
And so he says, nigger, are you threatening me? I says, no, I will kill you. Really, I did.
And you were what, about 16 at this
I
point?
was 13.
13. You were 13.
I was
Okay.
13. And
Yeah.
when I said that, he really got angry, and
Yeah.
he says, nigger, I'm gonna beat your black ass. When I get done beating your ass, you're gonna work to my satisfaction. And he came at me again. I grouped up the single tree and I swung at him. He jumped back. He says, nigger, you tried to hit me in the head. I says, I will kill you. And that made him more mad. He came
bet.
at me a second time, and
Oh my God.
I almost caught him that time. He
Yeah.
jumped back,
Wow.
and he realized
You were serious.
I was serious.
Yeah.
He was serious, and I was serious
Yeah.
too. And like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stand there and let some guy
Yeah.
kick my butt like
Right,
that.
exactly, yeah.
No, that's the problem with. That's why Black history is what it is today.
Right,
Because
exactly.
our forefathers didn't defend themselves.
Right.
They were humble.
Right.
Well, see, Black people are one of the most God-fearing people on the planet, and generally a Black person would rather humble himself and,
Yeah.
and take a beating than to retaliate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a good thing in some situations.
No.
You need to defend yourself. I'll tell you another story that convinced me that that's not the way to go. Is
Right.
to go, oh, please don't hurt me.
Right.
So when I swung at him a second time, he come down and he says, man, you got to do the work. I says, the work is going to get done. I said, but you can't bother me like this. You got to leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
I says, I didn't get any sleep last night, and I'm doing the best I can do.
Yeah.
But the work is going to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So he went on.
Mm-hmm.
He went and got his car and went back home.
Yeah.
But that evening he came down to the house and he told my dad, he says, George, I got to talk to you. And my dad says, yes, sir, what is it? He says, well, that boy of yours there, he cursed me out over in the field today and tried to hit me in the head with the singer tree. My dad says, now, wait a minute. You had to give him a reason to do that. Then he got mad at my dad.
Yeah. Wow.
Are you calling me a liar? My dad says, no, I'm not calling you a liar. But that's my son. I raised him, and I know he would never do anything like that.
Right.
Unless you gave him a cause.
Right.
And he says, well, I like your family. You're a hard-working family. I like all of you, but you're going to have to do something with that one. That means I gotta be gone.
Yeah.
Or else there's going to be a lynching.
Jesus.
After that, and I got my brother in Korea, and he's gonna hear about this. Yeah. And I can imagine the agony he went through being away in the Korean War.
Sure.
Knowing that I have retaliated in that manner.
Right.
And he know the results, what the results could be.
Yeah.
And he's there, and he can't walk away. He can't come and defend me.
Right.
I think about it all the time, what he must have been going through, thinking any day he's going to get a letter saying that
you're dead.
That they burned Willie alive.
Yeah, and that stuff happened.
You can't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I found out a couple of years ago, I did an interview.
Right.
And the guy was here for 2 or 3 days. I told that story. And when he left here, he went to our band house address,
right.
Took pictures. Then he went to Mississippi and he looked up that family.
Right.
Well, the father had passed away.
Sure.
But his son was there.
Mm-hmm.
And so he interviewed his son. And at the end of the interview, he when he finished the interview thing, he sent him a copy of the interview, and he sent me a copy. And I had a birthday celebration, and the guy that interviewed me came to the party. And when he walked in, and he says, "Hey, Willie, how are you?" I says, "I'm fine. Hey, man, good to see you." He said, "That guy in Mississippi is really mad at you." I said, "Why is he mad at me?" That's when I realized he never...
That the father never told him.
The father never, he never, not even his son.
Not even his son, yeah.
Because his son would have been the first person
to come after
me.
Right.
And
how old was his son?
He was a year younger than me.
You're younger, but he still would have come after you.
Oh, he was a pain in the butt. He was always, when he turned 12 years old, he made a special trip down to our house, and he called Joe and me and Lester to his attention. He says, "I need to talk to you guys." He said, "Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm turning 12. It's about time you guys start saying yes, sir, no, sir, and mister to me."
God almighty.
Now he's 12 years old.
Yeah, 12 years old.
And he's already said, we got to say mister, yes,
horrible.
Sir, no, sir.
Yeah.
To him, I chased him, not all the way home, but I went after him, and he took off running.
Yeah.
Him and me, we were getting into it all the time.
Yeah.
One time he tried to he shot me in my back with a bow and arrow, but it didn't penetrate. I had on a thick plaid shirt and a thermal shirt underneath there and overalls. But I was taking the ewes into the barn one time to feed them, and he came out and he says, "Hey, help me find the baby kittens. The cat had some kittens in the hayloft. You love little baby kittens. They're sweet, they smell good, and they're precious.
Right.
Help me find the baby kittens. They're in the hayloft." But he had gone there prior to that and stashed his bow and arrow.
Oh my goodness.
And so I'm excited to find these baby kittens. So we get upstairs, up in the hayloft, and I'm listening to see if I can hear the baby kittens. And he says, "I think I heard him over there. Go look over there." So when I went over there,
that's when he shot you.
He takes his bow and arrow and he shoots me. It hit a nerve. It punctured a nerve or something, because it made my legs go straight out like this, and I fell flat on my back. I realized because when I jumped up, he was still holding the bow, and I went after him. So he was trying to run out of the barn. But just before when he's going down the ladder like this, I was running after him, and I saw the pitchfork, and in stride, I just scooped up the pitchfork, and when he was like this, I just put the pitchfork in his throat. I says, "I'm gonna kill you."
Wow.
So he starts crying and says, "Oh, please don't kill me. Please, I'm sorry. Please don't kill me.
Unbelievable.
Please don't kill me." After about 20 minutes, I released the pitchfork from him.
Well, it's a good thing his father didn't tell him. Yeah.
Every white person for miles around would have came to kill a 13-year-old black boy.
That's
who
right.
Tried to hit a white man.
So do you remember a lot of things like that happening growing up?
Yeah.
I mean, kids getting murdered and stuff like that.
There was another family lived about a half mile from us. He had 3 sons and 2 daughters and a wife. And they killed every one. They killed all 3 of his sons.
God.
These people don't go to jail. They don't get arrested.
Of course not.
My dad had bought me an acoustic guitar, and I took the guitar out of the case, and I slid the case underneath the edge of my bed.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a 12-gauge shotgun and a rifle, 22 rifle.
Yeah.
I put that under the edge of the bed, and I filled the guitar case with ammo.
Wow.
I said, this is going to be a different lynching.
Yeah.
I said,
someone else is going to go.
when I hear the boys saying, "Come out of there,"
right,
I was just going to start killing them. I was going to start shooting everybody I saw.
Wow.
And I know his son would have been the first. He would have been the one saying, "Come out of there."
Right, yeah.
Come out of there.
Exactly.
He would have been the first person there.
So after this incident happened, is that when your family moved?
Well, we stayed there 3 years after that.
Oh, it was 3 years after that you guys stayed.
3 years we stayed.
Wow. Okay.
That's why I was prepared. I had
for some reason I thought you guys left right after this incident.
We stayed 3 years after that. I did the whole thing for 3 years.
You must have been on pins and needles some of that time.
Well, you can imagine. When I went to bed at night, I made sure everything was convenient. I didn't have to look for anything.
Right.
I was not just going to go down like that.
Right.
I was going to take out every person I could.
I don't blame you.
I know what they're going to do to me.
Right.
And it was going to be a different one. It's not going to be just a funeral and a family that cries and that's the end of it. No, it wasn't going to be like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So what ended up convincing your family to leave after 3 years? Was it, what exactly was the...
Well, my dad was sympathetic to what I was going through.
Right.
It was a 3-year planning thing. But we couldn't rejoice. We couldn't tell our friends or relatives.
It had to be a secret.
It had to be totally secret.
Yeah.
3 years after that, that's when we came to California.
Right. And how did you guys drive, or what did you do?
We drove. Two brother-in-laws came from here. That was here. 2 of my older sister's husbands.
Okay.
they came in a station wagon
and got you
to
guys.
get it to bring us out.
Yeah.
To bring us out.
Wow.
Anyway, like I was saying, when I was 4 years old, I remember a situation that happened. My dad came home. He'd been into town, and he came home. He was winded. He was huffing and puffing, and I heard my mom says, "Oh my God, Mr. Chambers, whatever is going on? What's wrong?" And he says, "There's going to be some angry white men here tonight. You can take the kids and go to your mom's if you want. Or you can stay if you want." She says, "I'm staying. What is going on? What's wrong?" He says, "Well, I was walking in town, and there was some white men walking in back, and one of them said to the other one, 'I bet you won't go up there and kick that nigger in his ass.' And the guy says, 'Well, hell, I will too.' So he tried it up there, and he kicked my dad, and my dad beat the living daylights out of him.
Wow.
Broke his arm, broke his ribs.
Whoa.
And put the guy in the hospital.
Unbelievable.
And he said to my mom, "And they're going to be coming here tonight. I don't want you to
Jesus.
say anything. I don't want you to get out of your seat."
Yeah.
And he says, "I can take care of this myself." And he says, "I would have killed the son of a bitch if they hadn't dragged me off of him."
Yeah.
That was my dad's attitude.
Yeah.
He didn't.
So you know where you got it.
Yeah. But I learned from that.
Yeah.
I was only 4 years old when that
Yeah.
happened, when they
Yeah.
came. But it was terrifying.
Well, sure.
It was terrifying, and like we're all sitting there,
Did they ever show up?
Sure, they did.
And what happened?
We're sitting there listening, and like the boy says, "George, come out of there." I says, "I'm going to help my dad." I was 4 years old. I said, "I can bite somebody on the leg. I can do something."
Yeah.
And he looked at me and said, "Sit down, boy." So I sat back down. And then he reached in the corner and got his 12-gauge shotgun.
Yeah.
And he loaded it. And he put some more shells in his pocket. And he walked out. Well, by now I'm in the window. And these guys were on horses. They had torches, ropes, and all kinds of stuff.
Unbelievable.
And the first thing they said to my dad, "Now, George, put the gun down." And they had guns.
Yeah.
So my dad says, "You got guns, put your guns down." He said, "Now, George, you know what you did." And he said, "Yeah, I know what I did, and I'll do it again." And I said, "George, now put the gun down. We got some moonshine whiskey. We're going to go down here in the woods. We're going to build a fire, and we're going to talk this thing over." So my dad says, I don't drink moonshine whiskey, and I'm not about to go down in any woods with you or anybody else.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to say to me, you say it here."
Yeah.
And I said, "Now, George, we don't want to hurt you." So he says, I'm not worried about you hurting me." And this is, "Now, George, put the gun down. We don't want to have to come up there and get you." So when they said that, he cocked his shotgun.
Yeah. Right.
And he said, "This gun, I bought it brand new. It is loaded, and it has never failed to fire. Now, ever who's coming up here to get me, come on, I will blow your head off."
Wow.
So
Yeah.
they started looking at me. "You're going to..." "Hell no, I ain't going to." So they sat there for a moment, and they just turned and rode off. A few years ago, thinking about all of this, and I realized what really actually went down and how powerful that was, that he defended himself in that manner that he did.
Yeah. That he was not going to back down.
No, he would have died.
Yeah.
He would.
But he'd rather go like that than the other way. Hell yeah.
So
Yeah.
a few years ago, I'm thinking about this, sitting right here in this house. I'm thinking about that, and I realized, because you got all the black leaders, you got Martin Luther King, you got Jesse Jackson, you got Al Sharpton, and all these people that are still saying, "Allow us, let us,
Right.
you give us our freedom." There ain't a man on this planet nowhere that can give you your freedom. And just situations like that made me think about how my dad handled that. Nobody's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
You
He had to stand his
you
ground.
got to stand your ground.
Yeah.
There's a time when
Yeah.
you need to stand your ground.
Yeah. No matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah.
And like after that situation with my dad, and when they came to lynch him, and he defended himself in that manner, and they just kind of turned and rode off.
Yeah, because they're basically cowards
They
behind the whole
protected
thing.
us
Yeah.
They protected us from
Yeah.
that day on.
Interesting.
Joe, Lester, and me, we were just kids.
Yeah.
We like to go fishing. We like to go visit our relatives. We like to go to
Right.
church. We like
Yeah.
to go. We like to go to the movies. We like to go
Yeah.
to town, and
Yeah.
you walked wherever you wanted to go. But my mom, she was, please, boys, don't go. Please don't go. My dad says, I don't ever want to hear you tell my boys they can't go. They can
Interesting.
go wherever they want, whenever they
Wow.
want.
That's heavy duty, man.
She was afraid that
That was going to
retaliation.
Yeah, that something was going to happen. Yeah.
And that's generally the case if you don't have a dad like
Right.
our dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
That is a heavy story.
we would be coming home and stuff like that. Sometimes it would be at night.
Yeah.
And then there's these guys, they ride around.
Right around just looking for something.
Yeah, and they do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like this it's a weekend pleasure for them.
Right.
You know, so they would run up. We would come across them quite frequently.
Yeah.
But every time, the first thing they would say, "What are you little niggas doing out here?"
Right.
We're going home. What's your daddy's name?
And that made a difference.
George Chambers.
Boy, that's a trip, man.
They would say, "Oh,
That is such a
you
trip.
better get in this car and let us take you home
That is
before
really
somebody
a trip.
bad run up on you."
That is heavy duty.
Paying
man.
attention, like
Yeah.
these are the guys that would castrate you.
Yeah.
They're gonna do something
Oh, yeah.
terrible to you.
Yeah, no doubt.
These are the guys that are saying us, "You better get in this car and let us take you home." And that's exactly what they would do.
It's amazing.
No black person was ever allowed to ride in the front seat of a
Right.
white man's car.
Right.
So we were just kids, but we'd get in the back seat of the car, and this guy was like our chauffeur now. Yes,
So what was it like on your way out? I'm just curious. So on your drive from Mississippi to California, what was that like?
when we left Mississippi, two brother-in-laws drove down to
Drove
Mississippi to get
a
to
station
get us.
wagon, yeah.
So when they came in, they had to pass the landowner's house. Well, the roads were gravel, and you could hear a car coming for a mile
Miles,
away
yeah,
because the
right.
gravel
Right.
makes a sound. Well, it wasn't frequently that a car came down the road.
Right.
So if a car came down the road, you know it's somebody you're not familiar with. It's not that often you hear a car coming down these little roads.
Right.
So the landowner hears a car. He goes out and he looks. Well, they're passing his house. And he reads the tag. It says California. He knew where it's going.
Yeah.
So they 20 minutes after they were there, the plan was they were going to sleep that night, and we would leave early in the morning. But the landowner came down to the house, and he was like looking at the car, and he said to my brother-in-law, "This your car?" "Yeah." "California, huh?" I said, "Yes, sir." "Well, I hope you didn't come down here thinking you're going to take my niggers out of here."
Wow.
Oh no, we're just visiting."
Yeah.
"Well, if that's the case, enjoy your stay. But if you think you're coming down here to take people out of here, you better get in that car right now and head back to California."
Wow.
Oh no, we're just visiting." So when he left, that changed the whole plan.
Yeah, you were basically out of there that
we
night.
were out of there as fast as we
Right,
could get
as
out of
fast
there.
as you.
Well, we couldn't drive past his house. We pushed the car. Really,
Wow.
literally, because we
Wow.
couldn't get his attention.
Yeah.
We didn't want him to.
Yeah.
Because he would have came out and tried
Sure.
to stop us,
Yeah.
and that would have been
That would have been
a
lynching.
That would have been an unpleasant.
Yeah,
scene,
non-pleasant.
'cause
Yeah.
we weren't about to not stop.
Absolutely, yeah.
But my mom and dad stayed behind. I didn't want to go because I didn't want to leave them
Now, why did they do that?
to face the consequences.
Really?
And they had some things they wanted to sell off, and so we're not going.
So when did they go?
They came a week later.
A week later?
A week or two later, they came.
Uh-huh.
It's about a 3 days journey. I never slept the whole trip because it just felt like any minute we were going to be stopped by these angry white men, and they was going to try to stop us.
And what was it like going across the country back then?
I was scared every minute because I had one baby sister and two younger brothers, and I felt like I was responsible for them all the time.
You were the oldest,
I had to take care of them.
Right.
And I felt like something was going to happen. The whole
Would you
trip.
guys stop so your brother-in-laws could sleep? What would they do about that?
They switched. One guy was
switch
driving,
off.
the other guy was sleeping.
So no stopping.
No stopping.
Yeah,
just
that's
for
incredible.
gas. Just for gas in the bathroom. Pulled into this gas station in Mississippi to gas up, and the guy came out. He looked. He says, "Golly, what kind of car is this? I ain't never seen no car like this." It was a George had bought a brand new Oldsmobile.
Okay.
It was a pretty attractive looking car.
Yeah.
And he looks at the car, and he jumps in the car and he takes off.
When you guys are standing there?
We were standing there. He jumps in the car and took off.
Unbelievable.
He didn't say, "Can I drive it?"
Unbelievable.
He just jumped in the car and he took off.
Whoa.
And we go, "Holy moly." So they got down the road, he goes on out of sight. But then in a few minutes he came back. I said, "Golly, boy, this car sure drives good."
Jeez.
And then he pumped the gas in and we left.
Unbelievable.
Well, what are you going to do?
Hey, what are you going to do?
What are you
Yeah.
gonna
No kidding, man. So when you got to California, what were your impressions of Los Angeles and California?
Well, it was night when we got here.
Mm-hmm.
When we got to Los Angeles, it was night. It was 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Daylight came, I walked outside, and I looked. I'd never seen such a disgusting place in my life. It was like building. No trees.
Yeah.
No green grass.
What did you end up liking about Los Angeles? I hope you liked something eventually.
Well, I very quickly came to the conclusion that this is where it's going to be. This is where I'm going to be. I better start trying to figure out a way to
Find out how to like it. Yeah, right.
So a couple of days went by. I walked down to the corner. I looked back. Everything looked too similar. Everything looked alike.
Hard to know where you were.
Yeah.
So
I started panicking. I said, I better get back. So I walked back to the house. Later on that day, I walked back down to the corner again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking. Went back. Came out a third time, walked down to the corner, and this time I made a left turn and walked halfway down that block.
Mm-hmm.
I got halfway down that block. I turned around to look. I didn't know where I was.
Oh no!
I said, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
But I pretty quickly I realized I only came one block.
Right.
Made one turn. I just go back to that corner and back down. So I want to try that again. It took me quite a while to adventure out.
To realize where you were and how to get back. Yeah.
Reading the streets didn't count.
Right.
It's at 17th Street. Where is that?
Right. Yeah. Where's that in relation
But
to
after
anything
a
else?
while, it was
Yeah.
okay. Somebody decided, hey,
We're in charge.
we're in charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
We better take charge of this.
Well, I want to get back to. I had a musical question for you because this is pretty heavy
Yeah.
stuff we're getting into.
Yeah,
But
it could go on
it really
forever.
is. But one of the questions I had when you and your brothers started singing as kids, how did you develop your harmonies?
It was just everybody sang good. Everybody sang well. Everybody.
But I mean, how did you discover, you know?
Voice range. Everybody's voice had a different range, and like baritone, people had a heavier voice range. They sang baritone to bass.
Yeah.
And people with a higher pitch, they sang the soprano.
But you could find the the harmonies.
It was just
Just a natural thing.
Everybody knew where their parts belonged.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
It was not a hard decision to make.
And the other thing to me that's interesting is just, you know, that brothers, like a family, there's a thing about the way families can sing because they've been singing for so long together. They know each other so well. And there's that almost organic, you know, thing of how to vocally.
It's amazing. Like,
yeah, it really is.
It doesn't take words. You don't have to use just a quick glance and everybody gets the
Everyone
message.
knows where they're supposed to be.
Just a quick glance and everybody, okay.
So in the early 60s, you guys were basically struggling singing gospel music.
Yeah, we were determined to be a gospel group, and that's when we met. We met Carol Perry.
Right.
And Carol,
and you went to the Ash Grove and saw Lightning. Oh, I know who it was. Long Gone Miles was a connection.
Long Gone Miles.
He was a connection to Lightning.
Indeed.
Yeah.
There was a record producer by the name of Bumps Blackwell.
Right.
He knew about me and he came looking for me because he was doing a lot of blues sessions and stuff. He wanted me to play guitar. So I became his studio musician, Bumps Blackwell.
So did he have you back in Long Gone?
I was with Bumps before I knew Long Gone.
Right.
Bumps introduced me to.
Right. He introduced you to Long Gone.
He was doing this blues thing, and
right.
He called me one day and he says, asked me if I would be interested in being a guitar player for this blues singer from Texas. So I said, yeah, I'll be delighted. So he gave me his address and told me to go get introduced and meet him and stuff. So I went to his house and met him. And I thought he was so ugly.
Long Gone?
Long Gone.
Now, Carol was real tight with Long Gone, wasn't he?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, Carol was.
Because of Lightning.
Because of Lightning. He was very tight with Long Gone.
And Bumps, Lightning was in town, and my brother Joe, he was relaxing black guy's hair. The chemical,
that's right. You told me about this.
Chemical you can put in there.
Like a conch.
Take the kinks out, yeah.
Do a conch,
in the hair.
Right.
And my brother had did Long Gone's hair. Well, Lightning saw Long Gone's hair
and said, I want that.
He wanted that and did his hair too. Guy drove him down here, who happens to be Ed Pearl, drove Lightning down to this house.
All right.
To pick Joe up to go to the beauty supply store to get the chemicals that he would need to conch Lightning's hair.
Right.
Well, in the car, my Lightning and Joe is talking, and Joe has said to Lightning, me and my brothers have a group. So Ed Pearl is listening.
Yeah.
And he said to my brother, what kind of group do you have?
Okay.
So Joe says, we have a gospel group. Ed Pearl said, what's that? He says, songs you sang at church.
Right.
Religious songs. Says, why don't you guys come and audition? Maybe you can get hired.
Right.
So we went and auditioned at Ash Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Man, people had never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
I saw men taking their coats and whirling it,
Right.
just letting it
Wow.
go flying across
Yeah.
the room.
Too
There
much.
weren't a person sitting in their seat.
Yeah.
Tables were knocked over. Every drink was spilled to the floor. And
Right.
the waitresses was pinned against the walls like
You
this.
told me
and
that.
everybody was like,
Yeah.
what the heck's going on here? So after the end of the audition, Ed Pearl says, I can't hire you guys.
Can't sell any drinks.
I can't sell any drinks when you're on stage. And my waitresses are pinned to the wall. They can't move.
Right.
And look at my place. It's a mess.
Yeah.
They weren't a dry spot on the floor.
Right.
Because all the drinks were on the floor.
Yeah.
He says, I can't sell drinks when you guys are on stage.
Yeah.
I can't hire you. So I said, well, don't they buy another drink? And he says, well, yeah, they do. And he suggested we come back a week or so later and audition again. So we went and auditioned again. And this time he took us on for 3 weeks.
Wow.
There was no written contracts. And it was just a verbal. We went from here to New York on verbal agreements.
Wow.
That's what it was back in those days. You didn't sign any papers or anything. It was a verbal agreement.
Right.
And so we went to the Ash Grove for 3 weeks. And that's where we met Barbara Dane.
Okay.
Barbara Dane came.
Right.
Lightning, Brahmin, Jack Elliott.
Right.
Barbara Dane. I'd never heard of a white lady singing blues like that. It was quite amazing. But at the end of the 3 weeks, Barbara came and said, when Lightning was on stage, so we all were hanging out in the dressing room area. Barbara Dane, she says, I'm going to the East Coast, and would you guys go if I took you with me? We were excited. We'd never been anywhere but Mississippi and here. You know?
Right. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
New York. Oh my God. Yes. East Coast. Yeah, we'll go.
Yeah.
But then we got thinking about it. Says, we can't go. We ain't got no money. How are we gonna go? So we says, we can't go, Barbara. She says, well, why not? We don't have any money. How are we gonna? We can't. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna feed you. I'm gonna house you. I'm gonna take care of you. Now, what we're gonna do? And just that quick, she started telling us how we were gonna do it.
So she basically paid your way.
She took us. She sponsored the whole.
Right.
She arranged the whole thing. She says, I think if people got a chance to see you guys, you would make it. She said, I want you guys to make it. So what we're gonna do now is like, you guys will just be in the audience. She had it all planned out.
Really?
I'm gonna get up. I'm get up, and I'm gonna do 2 or 3 songs, and then we'll say, "Hey, I got some friends out there in the audience. I'm gonna ask them to come up and do some background." And then you guys come up, and we'll do a couple songs together.
Right.
You guys can sing background.
Right.
And I'm gonna get out of the way, and then you guys can just do your thing.
Yeah.
She said, she said, I just want people to get a chance to experience and see you and hear you. And that was her motive. She wanted us.
So she basically was sponsoring you, like she said.
She wanted us to.
Yeah.
She wanted us to
go
get
somewhere.
out there and get people to hear us and see us. She knew that. She says, I know you guys will make it.
You guys are on one of the album covers, has her on it and you guys on it.
We were back singing background with her.
Okay. So that's on one of her recordings.
She did everything imaginable to get us exposed.
To get you exposed. Yeah.
God bless her.
And obviously she got you on Newport, which was huge.
I think she set up that whole kind of thing. Got us invited to Newport. We were a gospel group. We were just doing workshops. We got asked to do a main stage.
Right.
And we got on that main stage, the whole ocean of just people that wanted to rejoice and celebrate. And we got on that stage, and Mr. Reeves had already said to us, don't do The Time Has Come Today.
Really?
That's not folk music.
Really?
That's not folk music. So I would ask
So you did that and you didn't even have a drummer at that point?
No.
Yeah. Wow.
We used Sam Lay.
Yeah. Okay.
We asked him to sit in.
Right.
What's the leader that?
Paul Butterfield.
Paul Butterfield.
Oh,
He was
okay.
he didn't want. He said no.
Okay, so that would have been
You-
60, 66, I think, or
He says,
65.
no, you are my drummer, and
Yeah.
you're not gonna play for anybody
Yeah,
else.
that must have been 65 or
So
66.
Sam Lace said, "Shit, I'm gonna play for you guys. I don't care what he said.
Right, he was pretty
I'm
independent.
gonna play with you guys."
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
We got on that stage and we looked out there. We saw all those people. And we, like I said, quick glance at each other. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
So you did it.
We did Time Has Come Today. It disrupted every workshop, man.
Yeah. Wow.
People come running. Well, when you're sitting there listening to Rock and Roll, the Voter Show, that's a great song. But
Yeah.
when you hear that kind of stuff for 2 days,
Yeah. There's only
And-
so much of it people, yeah.
and
Are
you
gonna
hear
take.
something like Time Has Come Today,
Right,
it's definitely gone.
But you guys did like blues and stuff at that point too.
When we went to the
Yeah.
Ash Grove, we were straight out gospel.
Well, but you were doing some blues on there though.
Yeah, because we had been doing the gospel in some other places. And Mahalia Jackson, she was opposed to that because she refused to do gospel anywhere. It had to be a church or a
Right.
religious setting.
Right.
She wanted everybody to know that she was a hardcore Christian.
Right.
She refused to do it.
Mhm.
And then now we're doing it. And when we went to the Ash Grove, we were doing gospel.
Strictly gospel. Yeah.
I got a thank from the Los Angeles Times. Mahalia Jackson. There was a talk show.
She called you
early
out.
talk show.
Right.
Paul Coates talk
Mhm.
show. It was one of the first talk shows.
Mhm.
She went on that show and she said we were terrible people. We should be ashamed of ourselves.
Wow.
We were blasphemous.
Yeah.
And she just really put it down because
There were a lot of people that got that. I mean, that happened to.
our church was like that.
Well, I was
too.
going to say that happened to Rosetta Tharpe.
Yeah,
She was kind of ostracized.
yeah. The church,
in the church.
our church, Greater Mount Zion, our
Right.
church, the pastor, the deacons, everybody said they didn't think it was a good idea.
Okay.
But they didn't say it in words, but the church needed a PA system,
Yeah.
and we were making money now, and we offered to put the PA system, and then they said they couldn't accept funds from us because of the way we make our money.
Wow.
Later years, when everybody had a better understanding about
Right.
life and
Right.
God and religion and everything else, they apologized and said that they were wrong, and they apologized anyway.
So when did you add blues into your program? I mean, because
After Mahalia Jackson,
right after that.
when she went on
Okay.
the Paul Coates show and she said it was terrible stuff.
That's
and
when
we
you
shouldn't
started
be
adding
on.
blues.
And then she went to the Los Angeles Times. She did a whole spread
Jeez,
on
yeah.
that and said we were, how what she thought about it. And she was considered to be the queen of gospel.
Oh, I know she was. Yeah.
And everybody listened. Everybody paid attention
Absolutely.
to her what she said, what she
Right.
would say.
Mhm.
So, like, club owners says we can't hire you anymore. As a
Wow.
gospel group, can you mix it up? It was the Ash Grove was the first place we started mixing it up.
Right.
Because Ed Pearl, he was the one that said to us, "I want you guys in my place, but you draw a crowd." Now we was selling out three shows a night,
Yeah.
and he's like all of a sudden we can't do that anymore because we are a gospel group. And Ed says, "I want you guys, but I can't hire you anymore as a straight out gospel group. Can you mix it up? Can you
Oh,
do some-
okay.
can you
So
do
that
some
was the reason.
blues? Can you
Yeah.
do some blues? Can you do some jazz? Whatever.
Right.
Rock and roll, mix it up. But I can't hire you as a straight out gospel group anymore."
Right.
And then the union stepped in and said every member has to be paid scale or above. And like some gospel groups had as many as 10 members. Club owners didn't want to pay that kind of money
Right.
for a gospel group.
Yeah.
So now we can't get hired as a gospel group. So now, like, for a long time, man, we had a 2-story band house with a basement where we had a rehearsal studio in the basement. We could play music all night, all day. And
Mhm. Now, your first record, the one from the Ashgrove, do you remember the label that was on?
I think Apco.
Really? Okay.
I'm not sure. That was a hard decision for us to make because we were born to do gospel,
Right.
and we didn't want.
So it was a big deal for you guys to let go of that.
Major deal. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
Yeah.
we starved for a period of time. We ate peanuts and drank sodas.
I remember you were telling me that.
Yeah, there was a 25% deposit on each bottle.
Right.
And we drank that all week, and then we would collect on at the weekend. Go to Johnny Pastrami and get 2 big pastramis
And
with
split
all that
them.
meat, split them up, and we had a feast. Anyway,
Wow.
we couldn't
Yeah.
get a job, and Ed Pearl was suggesting to us to mix it up,
Right.
so we could get work.
So
we had to-
that was a success doing that.
We had to decide to do that.
Yeah.
And George, our brother George, our older brother George, he didn't want it. He says, "No, I won't." We didn't want to do it either, but we decided maybe if we do this, we'll get famous and we can come back and do our gospel. George
Right.
said no. So when Jordan Lester and me went to George and says, we were just thinking, George, if we do this, we can come back and do our gospel. He says no. So Jordan Lester and me threatened him. We made him so we will kick your butt if you don't do this. He didn't want to do it, but we said if you don't do this, man, we're gonna kick your butt.
That's funny.
So he did it. So he did it, but he didn't want to.
So your father struck again. Huh?
He was so angry. We would be on stage and he'd be way over there by himself. With
Embarrassed. Yeah.
But when he got angry, he took it out on his bass. And
Oh,
it just
man.
made him play the bass much better.
That's funny.
But we went on to do the gospel and mixing it up, and we went to Newport. We did Time Has Come Today. Mr. Weens came out and says, "I don't know if you know that or not, but that was not folk music." And he said, "You guys will never play the Newport Folk Festival."
But then he had you again.
Popular demand. 3 times. We did it 3 times.
Three?
Nobody ever did it 3 times back to back.
Really? So you did like
you did it this year.
65,
You
66,
couldn't do it.
67.
You didn't do it
Yeah.
next year.
Right. But you did it
We
3
did it
times in a row.
3 times
Wow.
in a row. We were friends with Bob Dylan before he ever went on stage. He used to come to our band house. Linda Ronstadt and her group, they practically lived at our house all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan was one of the persons that hung out at our house.
Right.
And when he was recording Highway 66
Highway 61. Yeah. Yeah.
He invited us. He wanted us to come and do some background vocals on some of his cuts.
Mhm.
And we were in the studio there with him for that. And he says at the end of the session, we're going to go to a disco. Disco? What's that? So he explained to us what a discotheque was. So we went, and they had food there, and great food.
This was in Los Angeles?
That was in New York.
New York. Okay.
So
Right.
it was upscale kind of. It was one of the first discotheques in
Right.
in the state. In the
Do you know the name of it?
Undines.
Huh. Okay.
Undines.
Hmm.
And we were there. After the session, we went over there. And we were sitting there. We ordered up some food, and we were sitting there eating our food, and people were dancing, and it was great. It was place was full of great high energy people, and everybody's just carrying on, having a great time. So the guy comes out and says, "We have a guest group from all the way from Los Angeles, California, and they're going to come up later and do the set. They're going to do some numbers." We had no idea he was talking about us. We didn't even have a drummer. And we're sitting there, and after a while, the guy comes back out again and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, the guest group we promised you, they're coming on stage right now, the Chambers brothers." And we go, "Holy, how are we going to do this?" So I said to my brothers, I says, "What are we going to do? We're not. These people want to dance. We're just a folk act. We don't do dance music." So I said to my brothers, "What if we just do the same songs we do? We'll pick the tempo, we'll set it at a dance tempo,
Right.
and we'll see if that drummer Brian was playing with the band that was playing there
So this is the drummer that played with you on
the whole time.
the album.
The
Yeah.
whole time.
Right.
Brian
Columbia
was
Soul.
playing with
Right.
a band called the Losers, and they
Okay.
were playing at Undine's.
Uh-huh.
So I says, we'll do the same songs. We'll speed them up, and we'll ask that drummer if he'll sit in with us and make it a dance thing. So we asked him if he would sit in, and he said, sure. So we did the same songs and just speeded them up. Like we did when we were doing the first song, I mean, not less than 4 bars into the first song. There was something about his drumming.
You guys knew it worked.
We just kind of gave
Yeah.
that quick glance at each
Right.
other and said, "This is
The
our
guy.
drummer."
Yeah. Yeah.
So at the end of the night, we had already been invited to sign with Columbia Records,
Wow.
and we approached him and says, we're signing with Columbia Records, and would you be interested in being a fifth brother and being our drummer? And he says, sure.
Wow.
So we said, well, when we sign, we'll send you an airline ticket, and you come to California. We have a band house. You have your own room.
Wow.
You don't have to pay no rent. We just be our drummer. He said, sure. But before we signed with Columbia Records, they offered us a contract of $400.
Oh, you told me about this. Yeah.
$450 a week, car
Right.
and wardrobe.
Right.
We went to every major Warner Brothers, Capitol Records, you name it,
Yeah.
Chelsea, every record label. That's the contract. Even Motown. That's when I realized Barry Gordy don't own Motown Records.
Hmm.
Why would Motown be offering us a contract that says $450 a week, car and wardrobe? That's the same contract that every major label in the world.
And you said that had something to do with being a black group.
That's at Capitol Records was the last one we went to.
Mm-hmm.
They invited us to come there to sign with them.
Mm-hmm.
We went there, and there was some little short guy sitting at his desk with his feet up on the thing like this with a
Cigar.
unlit,
Yeah.
half burned down cigar,
Right.
unlit, hanging in his lip.
Right.
And you said, the contracts are over there, sign them. Went over, picked them up, $550 a week, car and wardrobes. I says, we're not signing this. And he says, sign the damn contracts. I ain't got all day. I says, we're not signing this. He says, sign the contract. That's the contract that all the black artists are signing. And I says, we're not signing this. I says, we don't give a F if we never make a record. We ain't signing this.
Yeah.
What about royalties and residuals and all of that? And he's raised up and he says, what do you know about that? I says, at that time I was the spokesman. I was our band leader
Obviously,
at the
you were
time.
hip to that.
Yeah, I was hip to that because of Bumps Blackwell. and
Right,
playing
right,
the long
right,
ball and being in the
exactly,
studio.
Exactly.
I learned what all of
Yeah,
that
Bumps
meant.
Blackwell would have known
Yeah,
all that.
I learned when there's a song title and the name underneath, I learned what that meant.
Publishing.
I learned about publishing. I learned about royalties, mechanicals, and all of
Right.
that good
Wow.
stuff. And I said, what about that? He said, what do you know about that? I says, enough that we ain't signing this. I says, we don't care if we never make a record.
Man.
We ain't signing
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Your dad
Yeah.
taught you well, I gotta say.
And we walked out of there.
Mhm.
Capitol Records was the last one in Hollywood. That's
Right.
$400 a week, car and wardrobe. That's what you saw. You'd be surprised how many
Oh, I
well-known
wouldn't. No, I
black
wouldn't.
artists signed
I wouldn't be
that.
surprised at all.
They got shiny. They got sent to a tailor who made them a bunch
Right.
of bright colored suits, and
Right.
went to the used car lot and bought them a red Cadillac and
Mm-hmm.
a used one, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, they figure they're going to see their name in lights, and that's all it
We
is.
were the same way, kind of,
Yeah.
without if I hadn't known what that all meant,
Right.
we would have been in the, we would have
Would have been the
signed, we would have been
same boat.
delighted to
Yep.
sign that contract, because all you were thinking about is making a record, making records, getting your music played on the radio.
Right.
and
Exactly.
That's what that
That's
was.
what most
exciting.
musicians kind
But
of go
people
for,
didn't
yeah.
know about royalties and all of that. When Barbara Dane took us to New York, we ended up in Boston. We
Right.
ended up all over the place.
Right.
We like practically never got back home.
Right.
When we would leave L.A., Alice Cooper and his group and Long Gone Miles would live in our house till we
Right.
got back.
Right.
Alice Cooper and his band, they didn't have a house or an
Wow.
apartment.
What a
It
trip.
was a hippie thing back in those days.
Right.
You didn't really need wherever you were. That's where you crashed.
Right. Right.
If
Oh, yeah.
there was 30 people here in this
Sure,
house, you
yeah.
sleep on the couch, on the floor,
Right.
wherever.
Yeah. And how long of tours would you guys usually do back in those
Well, the
days?
last time we went out, we went to the East Coast. We went to New York to play a place called the Downtown, upscale supper club.
Mm-hmm.
That told us we couldn't invite our black friends because they weren't allowed in the place.
Yeah.
We worked there. We went there to be there for 3 weeks. Within the first week, we did 4 shows a night. We had 4 sellout shows a night. I went to the manager. They took us in the basement. Said,
Mhm.
"This is your dressing room area,
Mm-hmm.
where all the steam pipes are running across the ceiling
Yeah.
and water dripping on the floor. When
Yeah.
you're not on stage,
Right.
this is where you will be. You
Yeah.
will not mingle with my clientele. You will not accept drinks. You will not
Jeez.
dance with the ladies.
Yeah.
When you're not on stage, this is where you'll be."
Yeah.
So we said, "Oh man, you can't invite your black friends. They're not allowed in here."
Yeah.
So, oh man, is this stuff still going on, man,
Yeah.
in New York, So we took the job. It was just a verbal agreement, and within the first week, we were selling out 4 shows a night. I mean, when we were doing our first set, the next house is waiting outside.
Right.
So I went to the manager. I said, "I need to talk to you." He says, "Yeah, what's up?" I says, "We want that booth and that booth for our guests." He says, "You out of your mind? Those are my best tables." I says, "Yeah, that's why we're going to have them for our guests." I said, "You see that crowd out there?"
Yeah. Yeah. When they're making money, you can get away with that.
They're not here because you have 2 best booths.
That's right.
They're not here because of your place.
Mhm.
They're here because we are here.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
wherever we are, that's where those people are going to be.
Yep.
And so then we'll just walk right out of here. We're not going to play to your rules.
So what did he say?
Okay. You can have those 2 booths for your
Right.
guests. I says, "Oh, and by the way, we will invite our black friends if we so decide to."
Yeah. Good for
So
you.
we integrated the place.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There was this young actor we met in Central Park. He was the first black person to ever go in there. At that point, when we went to New York for that stint, we never got back.
Yeah. You're
We
just
never-
gone all the time.
We never got back, man.
Yeah.
We were one gig after another. When we ended up in Boston, we ended up all over the place. Philadelphia.
Now, were you guys traveling by car, or would you
Yeah.
fly in, or how
We-
did that work?
We didn't fly.
You drove?
We drove.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd basically work your way across and work your way
I
back.
told my brothers, I ain't flying.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people that felt that
I'm
way.
not gonna fly.
Yeah.
So we stayed on the ground the whole time.
Right.
But the next thing I knew, we were flying every day.
Yeah. But you did work across pretty much when you were traveling? I mean, you would work across the country, like
Driving
to each state and
we
playing
would drive.
gigs. Yeah.
We would drive. Then all of a sudden, man, the next thing I knew, we were flying every day, sometimes twice a day.
You had people that wanted you in such and such cities. Did you guys travel a lot? Did you go to Europe much?
We ended up going to European tour.
Uh-huh.
We went to Japan. That's when Woodstock was happening. we got invited to play Woodstock. We didn't want no part of Woodstock.
Interesting.
We did not. We hated the thought of Woodstock because it was too fabricated. It was too out of proportion.
Well, you guys did Summer of Soul, which was the concerts in Harlem that the guy put on, and you guys are in that film.
We was friends with him. We had met him in New York, and all he talked about was doing a festival.
Right.
And nobody was saying, yeah, that's a good idea. Everybody was trying to discourage him. So, man,
Right.
you can't do that. This Woodstock just was a week or so ago. You can't do a festival. He says, I'm going to do a festival in the middle of Harlem. It's going to be free to the people, and everybody's going to be there.
And he did.
And he did.
Yeah.
So we, being kind of friends with him, we
Went ahead and did it.
And so did everybody else showed up.
Yeah.
I think Aretha Franklin didn't show up because she was.
Well, B.B. King did it.
Yeah.
Sly Stone did it.
3 Dimension.
Fifth Dimension. Mahalia Jackson. Mavis, the Staple Singers. Yeah. Stevie Wonder, all kinds of people.
Everybody.
Questlove.
Yep.
Basically opened everyone's eyes to it. I had never seen you guys back in the day, and I bought the album Live at the Ashgrove. I mean, I want to say 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had that album, and Carol used to talk about you guys all the time. And it wasn't until I saw you with Barbara Dane, you and Joe singing backup for her, that I realized how great you guys were. Or are, I should say, how great you guys are when you sing together.
Thanks to Barbara Dane, Carol Perry, David Rubinson.
Right.
He had followed us around for...
Rubinson?
David, he had followed us around to all of our live gigs and everything.
Okay.
And his biggest dream was to someday record The Time Has Come Today.
And he did.
Yeah. He got fired for doing it.
Did he?
Yes, he did. He lost his job. He was a staff producer, one of the producers at Columbia Records.
And why did he get fired for that?
Because when we signed, after they offered us that terrible contract.
Right.
We said no.
And then they upped it?
And when we went to Capitol Records, we just decided we were never going to make a record because we weren't going to sign that kind of agreement.
So did he come back to you guys?
We got a call from Columbia Records that invited us to come back in again and discuss a signing.
Okay.
So we went in, and they said, just what do you guys want? So, well, we don't want this. We won't sign that. We want what you give everybody else. What you give you don't offer white bands that kind of agreement.
Yeah.
You give them front money.
Right.
That's what we want too. We want
same thing.
We won't have it any other way.
Right.
If you can't do that for us, you're wasting our time.
Right.
Okay, just what do you want? What do you want? So we said we want front money.
Right. So you settled on something.
They gave us a bunch of money.
Residuals and all that.
They gave us a bunch of money, and that's when we bought this house for my mom and dad.
Right.
And Clive, there was a party, a welcome to the party, welcome to the label party.
Mm-hmm.
Clive Davis was there, and we carried on for 3 or 4 hours. It was a food orgy, food everywhere, and stuff, and drank, and
so you got treated with some respect.
Royalty, with respect.
Got treated with respect.
Mr. Davis said, well, I must be leaving. I have other appointments I have to take care of.
Right.
And he says, welcome to the label. And he was walking out the door, and then he leaned back in the door and says, oh, by the way, that song, The Time Has Come Today, that you guys do? We would say, yeah. He says, we won't be recording that. We don't do that kind of shit on this label.
Really?
And he was gone.
Whoa.
David Rubinson.
So he basically stuck his neck out for you guys and then got the axe.
When he said that, that just broke David's heart because
Oh, I
that was
bet.
his big dream was to
To
someday
record
record
that
that
song.
song.
Wow.
And like tears was rolling down his
Oh my
face, and he
God.
says, "Oh my God, he's not going to allow us to record that record. Oh, what am I going to do?" So everybody went. So we said, "Well, we may as well." We knew we had something in that song. We knew because we had experienced it. We
Right.
had seen the reaction.
The excitement. Yeah.
We'd seen it.
Yeah.
And we knew we had something going on with the time has come today.
Mhm.
But now he's telling us we can't record it because we don't do that kind of shit on this label. I'm still trying to figure out to this day, why did Columbia Records sign the Chambers
Exactly.
brothers? Why?
Yeah. What was the reason?
What was the reason?
Yeah.
They didn't do gospel. They didn't do. They were country and western mostly. The closest thing they had to rock and roll was Paul Revere and the Raiders. And why? You know, just thinking a few years ago, why did Columbia Records sign us?
Yeah.
What was the purpose? And then he tells us we can't record time. Well, you know, after when he said that, he left.
Yeah.
David Rubinson was he was crying. A couple of days went by and David Rubinson called us. He says, "I don't care what he says. We're going to record that song."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I'm probably going to lose my job." And he did. He says, "What we're going to do when we get our recording date, you guys show up about 45 minutes to an hour early. We're going to hook up the amps, plug the amps in. We're going to record it live." And he says, "Whatever we get, that's what we're going to have to live with." He says, "We can't overdub, we can't splice, we can't
Right.
fix nothing. Whatever we get," he says, "we can't even listen back." He says, "Whatever we get, that's what we're going to have to live with. But we're going to record that song."
Yeah.
So that's what we did. When we got our recording date, we went in early. We plugged the amps up. We recorded it live. It's all done in one take.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time we were playing it, David Rubinson was putting the effects on at the same time.
Right.
And when we finished it, shut the machines down. We didn't when we heard it again, it was on the album.
Well, let me ask you this: who came up with the idea of the clock in it?
Me.
Was that your idea?
Joe. I was sitting in our band house. I was downstairs in the dining room there,
Right.
on an acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I was just sitting there playing, and all of a sudden that da 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 ching da da. That came to me from somewhere. It just came, and I was just sitting there playing that over and over and over and over and over, and I liked it. Joe was upstairs writing lyrics to The Time Has Come Today.
Huh.
He heard me down there playing that.
Right.
And he walked to the top of the stairway and he says, "What's that you playing down there?" I says, "I don't know, man. It just came to me." I says, "I don't have any words for it or anything. I was just, I just came to me and I'm just playing it."
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Well, I was upstairs in my room writing, and what I'm writing
Goes perfect.
it seemed like that
Yeah.
music fits well with what I'm writing."
That's amazing.
I said, "Well, bring it down and see what you got." So he brought it down. We went in
Yeah.
the studio. He just had about a 2.5 minute song,
Yeah.
and we went down in the studio, and sure enough, the lyrics that he was writing
Fit perfectly.
It was like
Yeah.
a wedding.
Yeah.
It was perfect together.
Yeah.
So we recorded. We did a 45, about 2.5 minute song.
Right.
And that was it. And one evening I was sitting in my room, and that's when psychedelic music was trying to be.
Right. Right.
I hadn't
Started
heard
happening.
any psychedelic music that made any sense. It
Yeah.
was like somebody threw a bunch of pots and pans up, and whatever it landed, that was the sound. And it had no rhythm. It had no meaning.
Right.
So I was sitting in my room one evening. I was just thinking about that, and it came to me. I heard the whole thing. I felt it.
Huh.
That whole 11 minutes that
Right.
would stay on the A, just
Right.
stay
The
right
jam
there.
and yeah.
Yeah, and I said, "We need a clock." So I says, "This is going to be our contribution to psychedelic music." I said to myself, I went and got I said, hey man, we got our contribution to psychedelic music. But what are you talking about? Let's go into the studio. So we went in the studio, and when we got to that A chord, I said, just stay right there. Lester, you need a clock. You need a clock. We didn't have a cowbell. You could
Right. Right.
Well, some of the Latin percussion groups were using cowbells. But
Right.
you couldn't go in a music store and find a cowbell. We couldn't find a
Right.
cowbell.
That was a
nowhere.
big thing. Yeah. More cowbell.
The first cowbell thing we had was a bumper guard from an old Plymouth car we found in an alleyway.
Wow.
We took that bumper guard off, and that made the clock sound.
Interesting.
I said, we need a clock sound, tick tock, tick tock.
Yeah.
And then then Lester, right here, you scream. Ah! And Joe, you laugh at the same time. The whole thing was like just delivered to me.
Yeah.
And I introduced it to my brothers. They thought it was crazy.
They thought you were crazy.
George hated it.
Did he? Yeah.
George hated it. He was mixing it up now and playing blues and doing everything else.
Right.
But we did it every set.
Right.
And he said, we're not going to do that song tonight, are we? Yeah, George.
I heard Carol told me that story a long time ago.
George, we're going to do it every show.
Yeah.
We're going to do it every show.
So how high on the charts did that get? Was that number one?
Number 11.
Number 11?
6 weeks, 6 months, 3
6
months.
months,
Or
yeah.
something. That was number 11.
Yeah.
We never wanted to have a number one record.
I gotta admit, when I heard that song, I did not know you guys were black.
We did.
I thought you guys were a white rock group. And I bet a lot of other people did.
That's what we were told by.
Yeah.
I think it was Columbia Records told us to go home, to put the guitars down, get some suits alike, learn some steps, and play your own music.
Right. So they were mad because you did a psychedelic
And
album.
Joe said, "What do you mean play our own music? We wrote this. This is
No
our
kidding.
music."
Yeah, exactly.
And we did a in South Carolina. There was a white dude he was a student at a university there,
Right.
and he was in the filming department, and he wanted to make a movie with the Chambers brothers.
Right.
And he was a Klansman. His whole family.
Oh,
was
my
Klansmen,
God.
But something about our music changed his whole.
What a trip.
He didn't want us out of his sight, man. He rode.
Wow.
He slept on the floor.
What a trip.
He wouldn't eat. He traveled with us. He says,
You know, there's a great story about a keyboard player, a guy named Daryl Davis. And he would make friends with Klansmen.
Mhm.
And they would eventually drop the whole racist thing.
That's what happened to him. He came
Yeah.
to he saw us in concert. So we played every college and university. We got lucky. We didn't have to promote. We got caught
Yeah.
up in that college and university thing. When Kent State,
Right.
incident happened at Kent State,
Right?
oh, put us in the red. We never recovered from that.
Wow.
All our gigs were colleges and universities.
Yeah.
Now we got to revamp, and we
Yeah.
had to try to get into another method.
Yeah.
And like for all those years, we did colleges and universities.
But you guys also did like the ballroom circuit, right? I mean, didn't you do the Fillmores?
we did the Fillmore, Bill Graham.
Yeah, I mean, you did the
Fillmore,
Fillmore
we did,
auditoriums, right?
Winterland.
Yeah, I mean, you did those.
We
gigs.
did. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
smallest venues. It was always colleges and universities.
Right, right.
But when that incident happened at Kent State, and those kids got killed.
Yeah.
There was no more entertainment.
You're saying because the colleges just put a kibosh on having entertainment?
No,
Yeah.
nothing. No social gatherings were allowed at no
Right.
college or unit. But this
Yeah.
guy in South Carolina, he had seen us at the university. He wanted to make a movie. It's called Miracle at Valley Park. I want you to get a chance to see that.
I'd love to, yeah.
And
I'll see if I can find it on YouTube.
no, you won't.
You won't? Really?
Nobody's seen it.
Wow.
It's as great as Summer of Soul.
Yeah.
It's there was a park there called Valley Park in South Carolina.
Huh.
where no two races had ever shared that park at the same time. When the blacks were there, it was only black. When the whites was there, it was only whites. And when the Mexicans was there, it was
But
only
when you guys
Mexicans.
played, it was a total mix.
That's what he wanted. He
Yeah.
wanted to bring everybody in the
Yeah.
park at the same time. The police department says you're out of your mind. We won't support that.
But it happened.
We begged for electricity. There was no lights. You know, we begged for electricity. Everybody was doing lights said no.
Huh.
The mayor, the governor, everybody said, no, you're crazy. This can't happen. This guy, he wanted everybody to come together in the park. It
Yeah, that's amazing.
never was done ever before that
Yeah.
everybody of race was in the park at the same time.
But you guys pulled it off.
We went there, we played it, and there's, across the street, like from here to across the street was a house, and there was a black family living there, and they let us use their house for dressing room area.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there, and she got on the phone, she called her friends, and she says, oh my God, the Chambers brothers are black. She couldn't believe it because she heard the, the music.
Right.
Like you said, you thought we were white.
Yeah. I did. I had no idea.
They're black.
Yeah.
And you know, one evening I was sitting here watching TV, and I heard tie tubes like lug wrenches hitting the ground, pling, pling, pling,
Right.
outside. And the doorbell rang after a minute. This is a black guy. And he says, sorry to bother you, man, but my park brakes is not holding. I need to change the tire. And the car keeps rolling. Could I borrow one of your bricks? I got all those bricks out there. And I said, sure. So he took a brick and he changed his tire.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came back, he rang the doorbell and he says, thanks for letting me use the. I said, oh, you didn't have to bring it back. You could have just left it there. And he said, oh, no. And he looked at me, he says, you look familiar. I says, yeah. He says, are you one of the Chambers brothers? I says, yeah, I'm Willie Chambers, man. He started freaking out.
Wow.
Ah, oh my God. I was there.
Oh, he was at this
Valley Park. I was there.
Wow.
My grandmother, you used her house for your dressing
Wow.
room. I was just a kid then.
That's crazy.
We were there. We were all there, me and all my friends. He got on the phone. He called up all of his friends, and he says, oh, you won't believe this.
That's amazing.
I'm at Willie Chambers' house.
Yeah.
Valley Park. He was freaking out.
Yeah,
He
I
was
guess
at
so.
that concert.
Well, it sounds like it was a special thing.
It was, and he has a flat tire right in front of my house.
That's total serendipitous.